Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sorry. Welcome to the devotees for this exclusive question answer session. There was some technical problem because of which this is delayed. And last week I was not well, so we could not have the live session. Welcome back, all of you. I have just one question here, and I request you to post questions on live chat so that I can answer them. The first question here: while chanting, is it Hare Rama or Hare Ram that is to be chanted? I have explained this once earlier. I'll repeat my explanation. The name of Rama. But while chanting, if somebody says Ram, that is also correct. That is not wrong. Of course, the person who is chanting should understand that is chanting the name of the Supreme Lord Rama or Ram. Whichever way they pronounce, that's okay. Who is Rama in the Maha Mantra? Is it Lord Ramachandra? Yes, it is Lord Ramachandra. It is Lord Balaram, because the Supreme Lord is one. So he incarnates in different forms as his personal expansions. Rama di Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, Balarama, all are incarnations of the one Supreme Lord Krishna. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all the other expansions of Krishna, who are personal expansions, they are all the same person Krishna in different form according to the relationship with the particular devotees. So accordingly, the Lord appears in different forms for the sake of his devotees. But the Lord is one. The Supreme Lord is one. And he is not a limited person. He is an unlimited person. So he is simultaneously present in millions of forms for the sake of his devotees, different devotees. So the Maha Mantra, when we say Rama, it refers to Ramachandra, it refers to Balaram, it refers to either of them. And actually the understanding we have when we say Hare Krishna and then say Hare Rama, Krishna and Rama are both referring to the one and only one Supreme Lord. Krishna means all attractive, Rama means all pleasing. And Hare refers to the energy of the Lord who is protecting the devotees. So that is the understanding. The Lord with his internal energy is actually protecting the devotees, guiding the devotees, and blessing the devotees like that. That is the understanding. So devotees can post questions so that I can answer them. Yes. This is the second question here. Is there any connection between the ending of Kali Yuga and the disappearance of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati rivers? Saraswati already non-existent. Now the ending of Kali Yuga, there are some changes that take place. Yes. I am not aware of exactly what the changes will be, but one of the things that happens is the disappearance of the rivers. Yes. the rivers will dry up due to so many different reasons. And as people become more sinful, then this place becomes more difficult to live. Even for getting basic necessities will be very difficult as people become more sinful. We should always understand that everything is provided for our living in this world by the agents of the Supreme Lord, the demigod agents, the devatas. But devatas can provide the necessities if the humans on the earth perform yajna. And what yajna is recommended in Kali Yuga, it is Sankirtana yajna. That is a recommended form of yajna in Kali Yuga. And also in the Bhagavad Gita it is explained, if people do their prescribed duties, that is also yajna. That is also offering yajna to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So either people have to do their prescribed duties according to their position, and they can expect that they will receive their necessities, or they have to perform at least Sankirtan Yajna, by which they will get their necessities. But if people are becoming godless and they don't perform their prescribed duties, then they will have difficulty in getting even their basic necessities. That's what the scriptures explain. And as Kali Yuga progresses, people become more and more godless, and they don't want to do their prescribed duties, and they simply want to enjoy without any restriction material they want to enjoy. So therefore, the conditions will become more stringent. Mother Nature or material nature will impose so many problems or difficulties by not providing even the basic needs as people become more sinful. Next question. Was Kamsa an evil person even before hearing that he will be killed by Devaki's 8th son? Do situations make a person evil or they are born evil? Good question. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 16th chapter, Lord Krishna explains two types of persons in this world. The verse, I will quote the exact verse. The 6th verse says in the 16th chapter, Dvau bhuta sargau lokesmin daiva asura evacha daivo vistarasha prokta asuram partha meshuno. The meaning of the 6th verse of the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is, O son of Pritha, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. Krishna is telling, in this world, the world we are living in now, there are two kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the other is demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. So people are born with certain qualities, divine or demoniac qualities, based on the activities they have performed in their previous life. If they have performed pious activities, then they are born with divine qualities. If they have performed sinful activities, then they are born with demoniac qualities. So it is not that Kamsa became evil just after hearing that he'll be killed by Devaki's 8th son. No. His reaction when hearing that Devaki's 8th son will be responsible for his death, his reaction is because he is of demoniac nature. That's why he responded in the way he responded. And a divine natured person would not have responded the way Kamsa responded. So, situationally, somebody may respond one way or the other, but their basic nature, whether they are demoniac or divine nature, is based on their mentality they are born with, based on the past life activities. The consciousness at the time of death is the sum total influence of all the activities performed in an entire lifetime of a human being. So that decides the mentality which the person, when the person dies or quits the body, dies means quits the body, will be born with a certain type of mentality in the next life. And that mentality is carried from the end of this life to the beginning of the next life. It is carried. So they are born with that type of mentality, either divine or demonic. Next question. Kindly guide us on how to break the fast on varahadvarishi while maintaining the midday for the same. Varahadvarishi, breaking the fast, is based on the Dwadashi guidelines. Even though it is varahadvarishi, still the guidelines for breaking the fast is of course, those who are observing a strict Ekadashi Vrata, for them there is a certain time when they have to break the fast. But otherwise, if somebody is not strictly following all the rules of Ekadashi fasting, then a simple thumb rule is you can break the fast on the morning of the Dwadashi after sunrise. Now, the appearance of the Lord may be celebrated in the noon time or midday. That is okay. But breaking the fast happens at the time when Dwadashi fast is to be broken. Ekadashi fast is to be broken. Or a Dwadashi Parana is to be done like that. So don't mix up the time of appearance of the Lord on a Dwadashi and the fast breaking time. Don't mix up these two. The next question, the fifth question. What is the best way to get maximum benefit from Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is and from his Srimad-Bhagavatam series of books? To take benefit is the easiest way is simply to read and understand whatever Prabhupada is explaining, whatever is stated in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna and whatever Prabhupada is explaining. So it's like hearing from Prabhupada. Reading is also another form of hearing from Prabhupada. And just take the direct meaning. Don't try to interpret anything. Take the direct meaning. And it is in simple words, Prabhupada has explained everything. And even the Srimad-Bhagavatam is like the study to be done after reading and understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So first the Bhagavad Gita, then the Srimad-Bhagavatam. In the Bhagavatam, of course, there are series of books. It's not just one book. So you have to go in that sequence and directly accept whatever is explained there without any interpretation. And if you want to really get the full benefit, then you not only have to read and understand, but also practice and follow the instructions. Krishna is instructing Arjuna, but actually Krishna is instructing through Arjuna all of us. Prabhupada is writing purports explaining what Krishna instructed Arjuna. Prabhupada is writing for us to follow. So following is an important aspect of reading or studying Srila Prabhupada's books. It's for us to follow. The instructions are there. Both Krishna gives instructions and Srila Prabhupada also gives instructions. How to implement certain instructions of Krishna, practically what is to be done now in our present age. So that's why Prabhupada is explaining things. Next question. Is Gayatri Mantra also a form of Lord Krishna? Yes. Gayatri Mantra is the sound representation of Lord Krishna. Gayatri Mantra is a sound representation of Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explains this, how the Gayatri Mantra and Krishna are related. When Krishna says in the 7th chapter, Krishna says, Gayatri Chandasamaham. Sorry, not in the 7th chapter, it's in the 10th chapter. I'll just open that and 531. Yes, it's here. In the 35th verse of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Gayatri Chandasamaham. I am the Gayatri verse. Krishna says that. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that amongst the regulated poetry, the Gayatri mantra, which is chanted by the duly qualified Brahmanas, is the most prominent. The Gayatri mantra is mentioned in the Srimad-Bhagavatam because the Gayatri mantra is especially meant for God realization. It represents the Supreme Lord. See what Prabhupada is telling? Because the Gayatri mantra is meant for God realization, it represents the Supreme Lord Krishna. This mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people. Even the Hare Krishna mantra is meant for realizing God or Krishna. But Hare Krishna mantra can be chanted by anybody, even those who are not spiritually advanced. But Gayatri mantra, in order to get the benefit of chanting Gayatri mantra and getting God realization, one has to be a spiritually advanced person. Then only such a person can chant the Gayatri mantra and get the benefit. When one attains success in chanting the Gayatri mantra, such a person can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. What's the meaning of entering into the transcendental position? One will be able to understand how the Lord is transcendently situated. He is not on the material platform. Krishna is always situated on the transcendental platform, spiritual platform. So that can be understood by somebody who attains success in chanting the Gayatri mantra. And that is possible if one chants Gayatri mantra by receiving this mantra from a proper spiritual master and chanting it after having made some spiritual advancement. What is that spiritual advancement that is required to properly chant the Gayatri mantra? That is explained here. One must first acquire the qualities of the perfectly situated person. What is that? The qualities of goodness according to the laws of material nature, in order to chant the Gayatri mantra. That means somebody who is a qualified Brahmana only can chant the Gayatri mantra in order to get benefit from chanting the Gayatri mantra. Whereas the Hare Krishna mantra can be chanted by anybody even if they don't have any qualification. The Hare Krishna mantra is effective if simply chanted by any person regardless of qualifications. Even a illiterate person, even a uneducated person, even a culturally not so advanced person can chant. Anyone can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and get the benefit of chanting Hare Krishna without any previous qualification. So this is the difference between Gayatri Mantra and Hare Krishna Mantra. Both are spiritual mantras, both are representing the Supreme Lord, both are meant for God realization, but Gayatri Mantra has to be chanted only by duly qualified Brahmanas, whereas Hare Krishna Mantra can be chanted by anyone. Next question. Ashwatthama was spared by Arjuna after cutting his hair and removing his jewels. Was he spared a second time when he used Brahmastra to kill Parikshit Maharaj? Yes. When Ashwatthama released a second Brahmastra in order to kill the only surviving descendant of the Pandavas, that was Parikshit Maharaj in his mother's womb, then Krishna saved Parikshit within the mother's womb by nullifying the effect of the Brahmastra. But Ashwatthama was not punished that time. Next question. What are the major offenses you must avoid while serving the Archa Vigraha? Okay. Serving the Archa Vigraha, or the deity form of the Supreme Lord, there are consideration of 64 different offenses. The most important point to consider while worshipping a deity form is that the deity, even though is present in the form of a statue of metal or stone or wood, the deity is Sakshat Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you have deity of Krishna, Sakshat Krishna is present in the form of the deity. With this understanding, with this faith, one should worship the deity. That means Krishna actually is accepting the worship. Supposing I offer a flower garland to Krishna in the form of the deity, then if it is merely, I think it is merely a statue, then a statue is simply a lump of matter. So how does it matter whether I offer a fresh garland, whether I offer a used garland, or whether I offer a plastic garland? It doesn't make any difference. Whereas, if somebody's understanding is Krishna has kindly come in this form because I want to offer seva, I want to offer service, I want to bow down to him, I want to offer him some food. For my sake, Krishna has come in this form, has appeared in this form. Then we have to be careful to offer to Krishna the best of whatever flowers we can offer, the best of food, the best of any article that we want to offer. That is called offering with devotion. That we offer the best and we offer it nicely. We offer with the understanding Krishna is actually present, and by his unlimited spiritual potency, he can accept anything with the devotee offers. There is no limitation on the part of Krishna to accept it. So this understanding is the basis of avoiding offenses. Those who commit offenses while worshipping the deity, either they think wrongly that we have to imagine God is in this form. This is a wrong understanding. It is an offensive understanding. When God has personally come, why should you think that you have to imagine God is present? Imagination is, imaginary form is when there is no real form, then imaginary form. But when Krishna is actually present, why should anybody imagine? And imaginary form cannot accept any service. Imaginary form, there is no possibility of any service being accepted. Please remember that. So therefore, the offenses that are to be considered while serving the Archa Vigraha mainly concerns the proper understanding and the faith that Krishna, being all powerful, for the sake of his incapable devotee, Krishna appears in the form of the deity or the Archa Vigraha itself, the statue. Krishna appears in that form. And he accepts the service of a sincere devotee. And Krishna rewards the devotee accordingly. What is that reward? Mainly what a devotee looks for when he worships Krishna, he or she worships Krishna. It is that Krishna cleanses our heart of all the material contamination by which we progress spiritually in order to come closer to Krishna in his transcendental form. A devotee, while worshipping the deity, comes closer and closer and closer to Krishna, the Supreme Lord, the transcendental Lord. And the stage will come when one is completely cleansed within the heart and Krishna reveals himself to such a devotee who is completely cleansed of all material contamination. Then the devotee directly sees Krishna face to face, talks to him, worships him, offers him, bows down to him, embraces him, everything. Everything is very, very direct, straightforward, natural, normal, very, very simple for the devotee. But we have to render service and purify our heart. Only then we can come to that stage by making progress in Krishna consciousness. The next question. Krishna favored annihilation of Duryodhana, whereas Balaram was against. So how to understand this difference within the two Supreme Personality of Godhead? No, there is no two Supreme Personality of Godhead, only one. We cannot understand how the one and only one Supreme Lord is present simultaneously in many forms, as if they are different personalities. Balaram is one personality, Krishna is another personality. Even though both of them have appeared as brothers, transcendental brothers, they have appeared as sons of Vasudeva, but of different mothers, Devaki and Rohini. But both are one Supreme Lord. This is inconceivable for us, that the Supreme Lord is present in two forms, acts as if he is there are two different persons, but actually he is one. So, difference in the behavior or interaction between two different forms of the personality of Godhead is actually a inconceivable aspect of the Lord's presence simultaneously in two or more different forms. Actually, it is inconceivable, and therefore we do not try to make some adjustment and try to understand. No, we cannot understand. We just accept that the Lord performs his pastimes with his devotees according to the devotees' relationship. So, Krishna was present on the battlefield of Kurukshetra for the sake of his devotees, especially Arjuna. And Balaram, he was not in favor of the fight itself. So Balaram did not want the fight to happen. So when Balaram learned that both Duryodhana and Arjuna, or the Pandavas, they are not compromising, both are, of course, Yudhishthira did try to avert the battle, but Duryodhana would not agree. Then Balaram just left the place and went away on pilgrimage. He did not interfere in the decision of Duryodhana to be determined to fight, and the attempt of the Pandavas to avert the battle also failed. That also Balaram did not interfere in. He just left it. So there is no contradiction in the actions of Balaram and Krishna. Krishna wants the battle because he wants to reduce the burden of the demoniac forces. And part of the demonic forces are the demonic natured sons of Dhritarashtra, 100 Kauravas. Next question. Can you please share important tips to stay healthy for longer periods of time for devotees who attend a full morning program and do service in temples? Attending a full morning program and doing service in the temple is not necessarily the cause of a devotee to become sick. Sickness is connected with a devotee's immunity being poor, or a devotee's immunity becoming affected by weather conditions, by improper eating habits, and etc. So many different reasons can be there why a devotee's or a person's immunity goes down. So we become sick, we become ill when our immunity goes down. There is a reduction in immunity of our system. And there are several reasons why immunity goes down. So in order to maintain good health, Krishna gives very simple tips in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Krishna says, Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. One can mitigate all material miseries by practicing the yoga system of regulating four things: eating, sleeping, work, and recreation. This is what Krishna says in the 17th verse of the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. And this is a fact. Now, even if a devotee tries to maintain good health by following reasonably all the rules and regulations and principles of healthy living, still, the body's nature is such that sometimes the body does become diseased or ill or infected, and then we have to, accordingly, we have to take some medicine, we have to consult a doctor, we have to take some extra rest. We may not be able to do the full service that we normally do when we are healthy, etc. So these adjustments have to be made. This cannot be avoided. Next question. Can you please throw some light on the shavatara? Now, please understand one thing. The number of incarnations of the Supreme Lord in the material world are innumerable. They are not just 10 incarnations, as sometimes people think. When they hear this word, Dasha Avatara, 10 incarnations, literally means 10 incarnations. But Dashavatara is a description of 10 prominent Leela-avataras of the Lord by one great Acharya called Jayadev Goswami. Jayadev Goswami has composed this Dashavatara Stotra, glorifying the Supreme Lord Krishna, who, according to Jayadev Goswami, Krishna incarnates in 10 different forms, beginning with Matsya, then Kurma, then Varaha, then Narasimha, then Vamana, etc. In order to perform his Leela in the material world, for the sake of his devotees, for the sake of establishing Dharma, for the sake of attracting the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, etc. So many reasons. So, the Dashavatara Stotra written by Jayadev Goswami describes the 9th incarnation in the list of those 10 incarnations. The 9th incarnation is described as Buddha. There is another list of 10 incarnations of the Supreme Lord described by another Acharya, where Krishna is listed as the 9th incarnation, not Buddha. Now that is not a mistake, because in the material world, when the Lord appears, we say he incarnates. That's the term that is used. Avatara means the Lord is in the spiritual world, he descends, he comes down to the material world for the sake of 3 purposes. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita. Paritranaya sadhuna, to protect his devotees. Vinashaya cha dushkritam, to kill the miscreants. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Sambhavami means I incarnate. Yuge yuge means in every yuga, in every millennium. Krishna is telling us in the Bhagavad Gita. So he has got his purposes for which he incarnates. So even Krishna is, in that sense, in the sense of the Lord descending from the spiritual world to the material world, Krishna is also in that sense an incarnation. But Jayadeva Goswami doesn't describe Krishna as incarnation, because Jayadeva Goswami describes Krishna as the source of all incarnations, according to the Bhagavatam. Ete chamsha kala pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is described in the Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 3rd chapter, 28th verse, as Swayam Bhagavan. He is the original personality of Godhead. He expands into different forms, and those expanded forms are called incarnation. In any case, whether in his original form as Krishna or his expansion as Balarama, Buddha, whatever, other forms, the Lord incarnates in this material world means he becomes visible to the ordinary vision of human beings. He becomes visible. He stays for some time after appearing. He performs his pastimes. He educates or he enlightens people who are in ignorance, and he disappears. He goes back to his personal abode from where he descends. Now, the description that all the incarnations are incarnations of Vishnu is also correct, because the incarnations coming from the spiritual world come through the form of the Lord known as Vishnu. Now, the Vishnu form of the Lord is responsible for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of this material world. And there are 3 Vishnu forms. One Vishnu form is called Mahavishnu, and another Vishnu form is called Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and the 3rd Vishnu form is called the Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. All the 3 Vishnu forms are active in the material world as long as this material world is there, is existing. And these Vishnu forms, only through the Vishnu form, the Supreme Lord comes from the spiritual world and comes to the material world in the form of incarnation. So in that sense, Vishnu incarnates in different forms in this material. That's a description of the Shastra. So in the Shastra, there are multiple descriptions. Please don't think there is only one description. There are multiple descriptions, because all are correct, all are true. The Lord is unlimited. So the unlimited Lord appears in different forms, appears through different principles, and accordingly the Shastras are describing. When Jayadeva Goswami says, Keshava Dhrita Kurma Sharira, the Lord assumed the form of Kurma and appeared in his Kurma incarnation, tortoise incarnation, for the purpose of the Samudra Manthana, churning of the ocean, for the sake of generating Amrita, the nectar, for his devotees, the devatas. So that is a pastime of the Lord. So when they wanted to churn, the asuras and the devatas, they decided to cooperate in order to together churn the milk ocean. And for churning, they had to use the Mandara mountain as the churning rod. And that Mandara mountain required to be rested on some pivot. And there was no pivot available. So the Lord appeared as Kurma and became the resting place for that churning rod. And the devatas and the asuras together churned and they produced the nectar. That's the explanation in the Bhagavatam. So Jayadeva Goswami says, Keshavadrita Kurma Sharira, Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa, like that. Keshava is Krishna, the original personality of God. He appears in the form of Narsimha or Kurma or Matsya or Varaha, but he also personally comes as Krishna, the original personality of God. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham. So that is also explained in the scriptures. Next question. How to understand that Bhima, who is a devotee of the Lord, wanted to kill Ashwatthama but not Draupadi? Was it the mercy of the Lord to put Arjuna in a perplexed situation and test him? Okay, the first part of the question. How to understand that Bhima, who is a devotee of the Lord, wanted to kill Ashwatthama, but Draupadi did not want to kill Ashwatthama. Now, Draupadi is a devotee. Bhima is also a devotee. Now, Draupadi's consideration for not killing Ashwatthama is different. Bhima's consideration for killing Ashwatthama is different. One more thing we should remember, that when somebody is killed by the Supreme Lord or killed by a pure devotee like Bhima or Arjuna or Yudhishthira on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the person killed is not killed. The person killed, apparently who's killed, is delivered, is purified of sinful reactions, is freed from sinful reactions, is elevated to a higher status of life. So it's a Lord's favor upon those who are very, very sinful if they are killed by the Lord. Or it's the Lord's favor also when somebody who is very sinful is killed by a pure devotee like Arjuna or Bhima or Yudhishthira. So such killing is not at all killing. That is explained in the Bhagavad Gita also, the 18th chapter. So Bhima wanted to kill Ashwatthama in order to relieve Ashwatthama of his sinful reactions, which he incurred due to killing the sleeping sons of Draupadi. Therefore, Bhima wanted to kill Ashwatthama. Draupadi did not want to kill Ashwatthama because she did not want to put Kripi, Ashwatthama's mother, Dronacharya's wife, into the same grief that she was suffering, the loss of her sons. So similarly, if Kripi also would have lost her son, Kripi also would have been put into the same grief in order to not put her into grief, because she was already aggrieved at the death of Dronacharya in the battle of Kurukshetra. So Draupadi, being a very kind-hearted devotee, did not want Kripi, because no fault of Kripi. Why should she undergo the grief of losing her son when already her husband had died? So in that consideration, Draupadi told Arjuna, don't kill Ashwatthama. Now, was it the mercy of the Lord to put Arjuna in a perplexed situation and test him? Yes. Krishna's mercy is always shown towards his devotees. When the Lord sometimes puts his devotees in a perplexed situation, but the devotee, by taking direction from the Lord from within the heart, is able to come out successful in the test put by the Lord. Always when the Lord tests his pure devotees, the devotees always come out successful, because the Lord is always present in the heart of the devotee to guide him, and the devotees always take guidance from Krishna. They don't do anything independently. They don't do anything without consulting the Supreme Lord appropriately. Next question. Dhruva was awarded Dhruva planet when he surrendered to the Supreme Lord. But Bali Maharaj was given residence in lower planet when he surrendered everything to the Lord. How do we understand this? Now, both Dhruva and Bali Maharaj are devotees. Both were blessed by the Supreme Lord when they surrendered. Dhruva was awarded Dhruva planet because that was Dhruva's desire. Bali Maharaj, he surrendered, but he did not ask anything from the Supreme Lord because he's a pure devotee. Even before he surrendered everything to the Supreme Lord, Bali Maharaj was already a pure devotee of the Lord. So actually the Lord, Supreme Lord, in his incarnation as Vamana, is simply glorifying his pure devotee Bali Maharaj. That's all. So who was really benefited by the Lord's appearance as Vaman Deva? Was it Indra who got back the lost kingdom, or was it Bali Maharaj who was blessed by the Lord? And Lord became personally his doorkeeper. So it is actually Bali Maharaj who was really blessed by the Lord, not Indra, when the Lord appeared as Vaman. One more question here before I close. Did Lord Krishna worship Lord Shiva? If so, why? How to understand supremacy of Lord Krishna? Now, when Krishna comes to this world, he performs activities in a particular role to teach the common people. Krishna, when he appears as a Kshatriya, son of Vasudeva and Devaki, that is to teach the human society how a Kshatriya should actually conduct himself as an ideal Kshatriya. So Krishna, as a Kshatriya, he was ruling as the king of Dwarka. He was following the system that a prince has to go to the Gurukul to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. So Krishna and Balaram were sent by Vasudeva to the Gurukul of Sandipani Muni, and there they learned everything. Though there is no need for them to learn anything because they are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full of all knowledge. But they learned it just for the sake of setting the example that even if Krishna and Balaram were very intelligent and very much knowledgeable, still, as the prince, they have to go to the Gurukul and learn from the spiritual master. So Krishna, when he performs his activities in the role of a Kshatriya, then a Kshatriya worships certain devatas as part of his duty as a Kshatriya. Here, worship specifically doesn't mean like a materialist worships, no. It is actually performing yajna for the sake of prosperity for the people or citizens of the world. So when Krishna is ruling for the welfare of his citizens, Krishna performs yajnas. In such a yajna, Shiva is offered a share of the sacrificial offerings. And Shiva in turn reciprocates by accepting the offerings and providing whatever necessity is required for human society. According to his position, whatever he's supposed to provide, he will provide. Shiva will provide if Shiva is offered the proper sacrifice. Then only Shiva can provide. Now, even though Krishna is playing the part of a ordinary person or a conditioned soul of this world, still Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and that doesn't change. Still Krishna is Supreme Lord. In his position as a king, Krishna does not give up the duties of a king that are to be performed in order to actually set the example of the ideal Kshatriya in human society. Even though he's the Supreme Lord who's appearing as the Kshatriya, still he is setting the correct example by doing his duties. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.